I had in my loft an amazing bookshelf that was pretty much performative for all my work stuff, right? So conferences and signed books and accolades and awards. And I'm literally packing it up as I move, not working for several months, having to make some hard decisions, looking at the news and knowing that I'm not alone. I have friends, I have acquaintances, I have fans on social that are doing the same thing, right? We're all in this rut. And I get to one of the last books that I'm packing up, and it's a Brene Brown book, right? And I remember that there was this big book club. I remember that I had like 3 signed copies, never made it past page 3, right? And I'm just like, I'm wondering, why did I have this allergic reaction to it? But right now, as I'm packing, it was less of a allergic reaction, and there was rage. And it wasn't rage towards Brene Brown at all. It was almost an acute anger towards the duality of this narrative, right? And I've always championed it to what I've read, what I've learned. And then I hear it, you're so vulnerable, like just the vulnerability thing. And I did not realize that that cuts both ways. That vulnerability is directly associated with power and equity, right? So anyone can be vulnerable, but the output of vulnerability changes depending on where you sit at the table. When you are vulnerable with what I call prerequisites, right? So if you're
Mm,
marginalized, especially if you're a woman, from the color, if you are part of the LGBTQ, if you are neurodivergent, the things that are aspects of who I am, that vulnerability was seen as corporate pet, then to a threat, right? Because if you don't follow the vibe, the shifting mindsets, the heavy handed political climate changes, then you are seen as a threat to culture, community, morale, right? And not because you're saying anything, no, because you represent quite the opposite, right? So as I was looking through the book, I saw an invitation from one of my dear friends, and my good friend actually had time. I picked up at the right time of the day where he questioned me. He's like, what does that mean? Millions of copies were sold. People love her. Like she's the Taylor Swift of self-help, right? Like there's no other narrative that could be conflicting with success, with something popular. It made me laugh because I'm like, this book is not for Black people. It's not. He's like, well, because she's white, because, why? Why do you see it that way? And honestly, I didn't have the answer. I just had the feeling first, right? And
mhm.
so after sitting down with it for a couple days, every piece of advice felt like it had a underbelly to it. So it wasn't telling me the entire story, or at least the story wasn't for me, right? And that made me question my foundational understanding of not only corporate America, politics, and our society, but where I thought I sat in it, right? So I saw myself as the pioneer, right? The first to do this, right?
Okay.
Not realizing that that
Mhm.
is part of the structure, right? So it's not just about feeling like you're breaking down boundaries. You can get even more dangerous and say, why are there boundaries to start with, right? And are those boundaries intentional or unintentional? Are those boundaries organic or optimized? What purpose do those boundaries serve? And why are we being told a different story to make them more palatable? Right. And so when that lever in my head flipped, I started to unpack all my books that had that kind of narrative around it. Right. And it's like, it's like Dave Ramsey and like, this is why you're not rich is because you're not investing your money well enough. Right. And you're like, well,
Mhm.
it's not financial literacy most people need, it's financial opportunity. Right. I can't get paid $15 to every white person's $100 and magically invest and get my second home on Lake Como. Right. You know what I mean? Like, it is the lack of acknowledgement, right? It's the lack of language. And so when I was writing about vulnerability, and I'm like, oh, this is very asymmetrical, right? Because it is not equal across the whole landscape. It depends who you are, who you know, what you look like, where you went to school. Hmm. Are you old money versus new money or no money at all? And so as I start to make this SWOT analysis of who gets to be vulnerable, everyone does. You just might not like the result, right? Because vulnerability can be championed or it can be correlated and it could be used against you. And then that's where I realized that vulnerability is just policing in a different way. And you start to understand it's not you, but it also begs the question is, who do you want to be in a space? And how do you create spaces for other people so that they don't feel that kind of isolation you were feeling, right? And what was underneath my anger was justice, not vengeance, justice, right? I was reading out of the wrong book. And
Yeah.
that's where you came in, where you're like, social justice. I'm like, he must mean someone else because it not, to me, it's not justice. But then I sat with it and it's like, for me, social justice is the Rosetta Stone of reality for me. Is not a building block, but the building block. If I can have something, everyone should have the opportunity to have it, right? The social part of it means it's beyond being democratic. It's innately for everyone. The system only works when you forget who you are and you believe who they tell you you are. That was my biggest lesson.